Wrestling fans, get ready. Mr. USA Tony Atlas returns not once but twice in the month of November for blockbuster Memories and Legends and holiday tapings. If you're in the Boston area, you can join us live in studio Saturday, November the 24th and Friday, November the 30th, all part of our 7th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive campaign. Remember, admission to these tapings is absolutely free. However, at the same time, we can use all the support we can get from fans around the globe in making these great productions happen. We can't do it without you. Hundreds of thousands of fans from around the globe have enjoyed Memories and Legends, but without your help, we run the risk of having to go dark. Visit BostonWrestling.com and use the Indiegogo link below to help fund these expensive productions for fans to enjoy for decades to come, with some great prizes for donors. Right now, the Hall of Famer Tony Atlas tells you why it's so important for these Memories and Legends tapings to take place. I think if we're able to ever get to a certain point with the assistance of the fans, Tony, I'm sure you'd be happy to come down every week if we could make it happen.
Yes, I would. And first, I would like to thank you, Dan, and Boston Wrestling, because one thing that a lot of fans seem to forget, we ain't gonna be around forever. I mean, when I look back on guys that I sat and talked to just last year alone, I mean, just about every year we lose 2 or 3 wrestlers. Vader, yep. Ronnie Piper. You know, in 2010, I lost my best friend, S.D. Jones. So there's very few. Me and our Brutus the Barber Beefcake were talking 2 weeks ago, and we're always so happy to see each other because there's very few of us is left. You know, it just seemed like yesterday that I was in Legend House, WWE Legend House, with Rotten and Ronnie Piper. And now Piper is not around anymore to tell his story. He's not around anymore to sign autographs. He's not around anymore to meet and greet the fan. So thanks to the good work of Boston Wrestling and Dan Morella here, you know, you're able to see, you know, us, you know, and it would not be possible. I mean, Tony Atlas would be probably forgotten about if it wasn't for Boston Wrestling.
I don't know if I'd go that far, Tony.
Well,
you're a two-time
you know,
Hall
out
of
of
Famer.
sight, out of mind. But,
right.
I mean, people are able to tune in to Boston Wrestling. They're able to hear some of the old stories that a lot of the guys, like some of the stories I tell, the rest of the day, they was babies. Just like Roma Rage. You know, his father and me,
you wrestled his father, yeah,
his Seeker, one of the Wild Samoan Seekers, was traveling up and down the road with us, and way before Roman Reigns was even born. You know, and like The Rock, you know, I used to sit in the dressing room and babysit Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, with me and his father. You know, we was on tour together. I remember he was a kid. But, you know, a lot of us, like me, Rock and Johnson, you know, we get up in age, so it makes us feel good that we could come to a program like this where people can hear about the way wrestling were back in our day. Kind of like if you get out here, the Rolling Stones to sit here to tell music fans how it was to travel in the days when the Rolling Stones first started their career and when they first did things. So it's a great history lesson of pro wrestling and athlete. So once again, thank you, Dan, and thank you, Boston Wrestling, for giving us the opportunity to tell our stories.
I appreciate that an awful lot, more than you know, Tony. Wrestling fans from around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA Tony Atlas.
It took him a second.
Always does.
Before we get to this great full-length episode of Memories and Legends, check out some of our great friends you can help support the cause to keep more Memories and Legends coming your way. Infinity Key, a truly natural online language training experience. 25,000 minutes. That's what you'll need to invest. Invest 25,000 minutes with Infinity Key, and we'll build you a portfolio of language experiences designed to accelerate your personal progress. The coach will help you strike the right balance between passive acquisition and active application of your target language. InvestKey's algorithms and coaches guide you along the clearest, quickest path forward on your journey to fluency. Visit www.infinitykey.rocks for more information and follow Infinity Key on Facebook at facebook.com/InfinityKey.
Champion, the Brahma Bull, the Great One, this
Finally, The Rock has come back!
is his story. Journey alongside the millions in this definitive guide to
The most electrifying man in sports and entertainment!
See The Rock.
It's just some man!
Like you've never seen him before.
But The Rock is cooking!
The World of The Rock. Available now.
Wrestling fans, check out our friends at Performa's state-of-the-art WWE Superstar and Legends Shaker Cups. They're 100% leak-free and shatter-resistant, guaranteed. Mix your powder using Performa's patented action rod technology. Check out new Superstars just added to the collection at PerformaBrand.com. I've had one on my desk every day since testing it out. Select your favorite WWE shaker. You'll be using yours every day, too.
WWE invades Los Angeles for Survivor Series weekend with 3 massive events. First, it's NXT TakeOver War Games, featuring NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa, the Undisputed Era, and more. Then on the heels of Survivor Series, it's Monday Night Raw on November 19th with Ronda Rousey and Braun Strowman, followed by WWE SmackDown Live on November 20th, featuring AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Charlotte Flair, and many more. 3 nights of live television, all at the Staples Center. Combo and single event tickets are available.
Wrestling fans, check out the brand new lapel pin from our friends at Crimson Mask. Inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, it's Bang 316. Only $8 each or 2 for $12. If you think it makes a great holiday gift, give me a hell yeah. Get yours today at crimsonmask.bigcartel.com.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, if you're watching the full-length Wrestling Insiders episode, welcome back. If you're just joining us, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. I'm Dan Marotti, joined by longtime MWF executive, Mr. David Carter. We're trying to mix things up. We're going to make individual news segments online, and then we're going to produce one big full-length episode at the end of the week. So we'll see what the fans prefer. Maybe they like both. Maybe they like one over the other. Again, it is almost like options that you may find on certain dating websites.
Well, let us know.
Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Like with him, it is the right and the left swipe.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
And if you ever saw the other side of those phones, that's a different story for a different time, brother.
All right, let's get into the headlines. This week was a little thin for the headlines, but we got some stuff to talk about. This one, we went over a little bit of them. The WWE, this was Stephanie McMahon. She was getting an interview done, and they asked her about how big can WWE be, and she basically referenced, she said, the WWE can be bigger than Disney. How do you feel about that?
If Mickey Mouse came out to be a child predator, they still would not have a chance at being any bigger than Disney. And that's nothing against WWE.
She's got big dreams.
You know I love WWE.
Right.
I love most of the people in WWE. There's a couple I don't like, but that's just...
Pipe dreams?
How could that ever become reality?
I said the same thing, but that's why I asked you the questions first, because I like to hear your opinion, because you have some funny reactions to stuff.
You don't want to know what honestly my reaction to that was? I thought it was sad that she'd say it publicly. It just made her look out of touch with reality.
I mean...
It's a great goal.
Oh, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
If they want to try and build the company up to be as successful as Disney and be taken as seriously as Disney is,
and
I think that's awesome.
I honestly think that's what she probably more meant than being bigger, being as successful as that maybe.
Now, I didn't see the whole interview. Maybe there was a different quote
She didn't say those words like you just said,
but
that's, I'm guessing, how she took, because there's no way. Disney's worth billions of dollars, like, you know.
Well, WWE's worth billions, just not as many as Disney.
Right, you know what I'm saying.
Big difference.
Right.
But, you know, but let me tell you something. There is nothing wrong with what WWE is right now. We can nitpick the storylines, the ratings, attendance, this and that. The business has never made more money than it is right now, and it's only going to continue to increase that revenue over the next couple of years with the TV deal. Just upon the nature of what WWE is, it's never going to be as big as Disney.
Right. Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean...
Disney World what's the one with the castle called? Magic Kingdom in Orlando. Does about 7,000 people a day.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even including the other theme parks
Right.
they have around the world or their other different branches of businesses. It's just, I mean, just look at the 2 movie divisions.
Right.
If you added up the income that every WWE movie has made over the past 14 years or however long it's been in business, it probably hasn't made as much as one of the lowest generating movies that Disney's ever put out.
Yeah,
It's not a realistic goal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with you. Moving on, we had WWE used a lot more pyro on the European tour. It wasn't just for the big Crown Jewel event. The whole European tour, they used the pyro. I thought that was pretty interesting. Do you think they should bring it back?
I've told you for a long time they should bring it back, but I'm going to
Every show or just the pay-per-views?
No, I'd put it on the TV shows to make them
so all
more
of them?
respectable.
Yeah, I totally.
I think it makes them, for fans that have been watching a long time, I think it's a drawback now. It's just another thing that they used to enjoy that they took away from them. But I'm going to hurt your feelings a little bit now. There is a reason why these took place on the European tours.
I know why. You're not going to. Because it's the European tour. They use it because it's supposed to be out. They only go over there, once or twice a year, so they use it for
What difference does that make? They go to some of the major U.S. cities twice a year. They go to London
but it's different
twice
over
a
there.
year.
It's supposed to be like it's a different market over there.
They're sold shows.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So,
but that's another reason why. But I'm saying it's also
the promoter is buying it, has been including that in their package.
Okay.
So it's not coming out of WWE's pocket like it would on Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view.
So if there's sold shows, they have to use pyro?
No, but it's just when you sit down and negotiate with the promoter that wants to buy them.
That's where I'm getting at. Is it's not they have to use it. So I mean.
Oh no.
Right, but that's what I was basically getting at when I told you. I mean, I'm just reading the headlines.
I think it's a great effect.
Right.
I think it really, really, really adds to it. It makes it seem that much bigger than it is.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Impact looking for a new TV deal at the end of this year.
Jeez, I wonder why.
Yeah. I mean, it's up there. Obviously, I don't think they should be on Pop. I think they should be getting something for their product. I think it's great. I think their television has been awesome. I think they need to find a new home. I don't know what, but Pop, they don't make no money off that TV deal. So hopefully, I'm hoping somebody will pick them up.
The problem with Impact is going to face is that while it's a great thing that it is a product that wrestling fans are enjoying now, there's nothing to sell.
Right.
You have ratings that are almost non-existent. You have a roster that television executives aren't going to know. They have a major uphill battle to fight. They're in a worse position, I think, right now than they were when they started 16 years ago in 2002. There's no traction other than the actual content being something that's appealing. A lot of the time to wrestling fans, there's been a few segments that I've detested that they've done, but they're trying new things to try and get some buzz going. I can respect it even if I always don't like it. I couldn't imagine being a television executive with millions of dollars to spend saying, well, geez, who do you have on your roster? And looking at them saying, I don't know who any of these people are.
Right.
That isn't easy.
No, I get
Can it be done? It's going to take years to build it back up. You have to start with it being respectable to wrestling fans, though, and being able to generate some income. Once they generate some income, they can start to bring in a better pool of talent.
What do you think they'll do? Go YouTube?
I always thought it would have been great to try and look at it as a point of view of something like Netflix.
Oh, yeah, there you go, like Lucha Underground does.
Well, Lucha Underground's going to be off Netflix soon.
But I'm just saying, like they did, Yeah,
no, I mean, as far as trying to have Netflix actually stream something live.
Oh, okay, live, yeah.
It was an idea that I had thrown out in the doc. I think it would have been, beneficial to Netflix. I think there are some fans that potentially aren't subscribed to them that would for something like that.
Imagine that, yeah.
Is it going to happen? Probably not. I mean, anyone that wants to get in the wrestling game,
so
they're going to look in one direction and one direction only.
Well, one final question is, what do you think is going to happen? If you had to say, by the end of this year, which is only another, 8 weeks?
I don't see them doing much better than they're doing now. I'll say this. I hope I'm wrong. I hope someone out there...
So you don't see them getting a network deal before the end of the...
No. I hope they get a deal where they're guaranteed income.
Right.
Then they can bring back people that lost
maybe
their jobs as a result
Paramount
of it.
Network will get back to them, which used to be Spike.
It would be good, yeah. But, TNA, even though it was under different management at that point, they buried themselves with that network.
That's true. Moving on, we had CM Punk sign a deal with the Cage Fury Fighting Championship as a commentator for them. My main thing with that is that he really hates wrestling that much that he just won't sign a deal with anybody.
I don't know.
Or has he just lost his,
I don't
passion
know
for
what
it?
Cage Fury
It's
is,
MMA.
but-
It's MMA. It's a lower class. It's on the UFC Fight Pass. You can watch
it
it on
is?
there.
Okay. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it because
No.
he's a commentator, which I think is probably their end game. Is
I'm just
signing
saying.
him.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess. As far as him not wrestling,
He's losing a lot of money, right?
he made a lot of money.
Right, but you think he's losing a lot of money, right? Obviously, not signing.
Especially now.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be making several $1 million a year in WWE right now. I hope
really
for the
think he
fans'
hates it
sake
that
he comes
much?
back someday, even if it's just to do a limited run or some big WrestleMania matches. But I know there were a lot of people in WWE that were thrilled that he left.
Oh, yeah. Your boy,
He
one
wasn't
of them.
who?
Triple H.
Oh, I don't know about that. I just mean the people.
From what I heard on
all
that
the people.
podcast.
I'm talking about people that aren't featured television
I get you,
characters.
I get
mean,
you,
the
I get
people
you.
that you have to work with behind the
No, I
scenes
get you.
sometimes. Like I said, for fans, it would be good. I think for the overall buzz of the product, I think it would be good if he came back. I was never a huge fan of him either way. I thought he was very good, but there was really nothing to me that stood out. But again, for the good of the business, I hope he does come back at some point. Everybody gets to that point, and I know it well, where they hate it. But in time, when you're away from it long enough, you really start to miss it.
He's been away for, what, 4 years now?
January of 14.
Yeah, so
it's
4
almost
years.
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to be gone and still not have any passion for it.
Well, he also had that MMA hunger in him, and I think that kind of got knocked out of him, literally.
But yeah, so I'm just surprised to see him sign a little. Like, how much can he possibly be making from that deal? Not no wrestling money, that's for sure.
He seems like he's in the position where he can do what he wants to do,
Right.
and it's not
Obviously,
really
he's
going to
made a good
affect
money.
him financially.
I know,
So
I
you
just
what?
figured-
As a human being, I say good for him. Let him do what he wants
Maybe
to
he'll
enjoy.
let this MMA, stuff go away, and he'll come back to wrestling at some point. That's all we can hope. I'm a big fan of him. I liked him since his whole run. We'll see what happens. Next was Christopher Ripley of Sinclair Broadcasting thinks ROH should be in the same light as WWE. I thought it was kind of funny because it's just, you can't. But what do you feel about that? Maybe you have a little more to say about it than me.
It's a company that's been in existence for 16 years.
Yep.
They have never run a full-time live event schedule. They've never had a television show outside of a very limited run on Destination America that ran at the same time, same place for everyone to watch. It comes off as Bush League. There is some great talent in the promotion. I don't think there's enough pizzazz to it to hold my interest a lot of the times. I never watch it on a regular basis. I just think it comes across as a lot of the time solid, generic wrestling. I think for them to grow, they need to do much more than that. And they're in the process of having a real shot at losing some of the free agents they have under contract right now with the former Bullet Club members, I guess is what they want to be referred to as now. If they lose them especially, that's going to be rough for Ring of Honor. I think Ring of Honor also looks bad in that they've never been able to retain a talent that wanted to leave, whether it be for WWE or even Impact. The parent company has more money than WWE at its disposal, which is the funny thing.
That's what I was
They could really do a lot with Ring of Honor if they wanted to.
I was just going to say that, too, because...
This is going to come across disrespectful to Ring of Honor, which it's not intended to, more towards the parent company. I just think they look at Ring of Honor as cheap programming they can throw out there. That maybe it covers
I wish they
its
wouldn't,
cost.
because I love it.
Well, I think Ring of Honor itself could present itself as more appealing to more fans than it does.
This past week, I went to the Lowell show, and it was awesome. Glow Wars, it was great. Great action. Crowd was into it, man. I mean, it's so much fun. I just don't know how Sinclair can't put any money behind it. Just to, give it something. No, they have the little glitter glow sticks and stuff, and pyro is there,
well, I'm talking, could you do bigger venues? Sure.
Yeah.
Could you spice
what I
it
don't
up
get
the
is then
production
they sell out
values?
Madison Square Garden. It blows my mind,
But I told you before, if that show didn't sell out, there would have been something wrong.
Right, I'm just saying they do it there, but then it's just going to go back to its small little production. Like, what are they? I wonder what they're going to do for that. How they're going to visualize it, ROH. How are they going to, put some money behind it to maybe have a little more big? They can't do that. I don't think they can just do their little set they do for that kind of arena. Can they? Well, you think they will?
No, I mean they almost have to.
Right, I
have
hope
a bigger presentation just based upon where the show is. But do I think? I don't even know if you're asking me the question about the Madison Square Garden show. Is that going to change people's perception of it? No. I honestly think it's hit its peak. And I know that sounds disheartening, and again, one man's opinion, but I think the Bullet Club has hit its peak. That group of talent has hit its peak.
You think so?
Yeah, I think kind of.
I think if they were to announce another All In too, I think that thing would sell out just like this one did. I don't see that being.
I'll give you my analogy. I think the end of the quote-unquote boom era of WWF unofficially came at WrestleMania 6. It really hit a downward spiral after, Warrior was on top and Dusty was on top the summer of 1990. The house shows died. I think for this grouping of talent and the benefits that have come along with it towards Ring of Honor, I think they hit its peak in September with All In. And I think it's going to go down. Those guys are going to have great interest as free agents. Again, and we've mentioned it before, I don't know how successful they'd be long-term in WWE.
I know. It's crazy because, the indies are so hot right now. They're just so hot. It's just, it's...
I'll say this. I think independent wrestling is hotter than Ring of Honor is right now. Is there anything about... And again, we're going to talk about two different things. I'm going to call them Bullet Club, because that's how most people would refer to them as. Do you think it's Bullet Club that's hot and has genuine interest, or Ring of Honor?
I think it's the Bullet Club and being the Elite. Obviously, them two together, now just being the Elite. And I also think you have your guys that people really like too. Like, you have your Dalton Castles. I think, and let me finish, and the New Japan guys coming in too. I think that helps ROH a lot. See, I think if the Bullet Club left, as we said, we're going to pack them all, I think you would lose some people. Because I think the people go just to be able to say, the Bullet Club, be Elite, all that stuff. I think if they did leave, like you said, I think their product will lose.
I honestly think that whatever benefit Ring of Honor has had over the past couple of years is because of that group of talent.
Yes.
I don't think anyone cares about the Ring of Honor product itself outside of, I'll call it a healthy enough group of fans to keep them in business, but certainly not a healthy enough group of fans to get them a national television deal, or B, a full-time live event
I wish
schedule.
we could just ask somebody that didn't. Because, see, I've watched it since it's been around. So for me, I can't say, because I'll watch it as a fan because I like it. I want to talk, like you're saying, ask somebody that's watching it just currently because of that, would they still watch once they're gone? You know what I mean? That's what I'm curious. Because me, I will, because I've always watched it.
Well, there's a difference between watching it on free TV and investing your time and money in it. Is it going to, if they leave,
what's going to happen to the Honor Club? Yeah,
is it going to kill them as far as live attendance goes? Maybe not as much as you think.
Do you think it'll hurt the memberships of their Honor Club and things too if they leave?
I think it may hurt live pay-per-view offerings.
Yeah.
It'd certainly hurt their merchandise.
Well, if you do the whole year, you get that for free.
Oh, you do?
You get their pay-per-views for free if you buy the whole year up front.
Well, if there's less of a reason to want to see the pay-per-views, yeah, I could see that affecting them. I think they have a passionate fan base that wants to support them, and they're willing to spend the money to invest in Ring of Honor. But I think those that are maybe new to the dance with Ring of Honor, maybe there's not enough to retain them if they leave. But hopefully, you know what? Sinclair opens up its wallet and says, you know what? We'll give you fair market value. We'll come up with a deal with New Japan. We'll keep you working with all of us, both of us. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I think there's going to be too much money on the table for them to turn down wherever their next horizon is.
I mean, hey, time will tell, right?
I hope for Ring of Honor's sake they stay.
Yeah, me too. Moving on, WrestleMania 34 generated over $175 million for New Orleans economy. I thought that was pretty cool. That's huge. That's a lot of money.
What about the La Quinta Hotel that wound up holding my American Express hostage WrestleMania week?
Well,
that's a different story for a different time.
But I thought that was pretty cool. $175 million it generates.
Hey, it's a big event, baby.
It's unbelievable.
It's a big event.
That's why everybody
wants it. For all those
it.
people that want to knock wrestling as being silly and stupid, and the results speak for itself.
Exactly, baby.
Some of the most elite destination cities, not only in the United States, but at this point in the world, are willing to spend big money to get WrestleMania week in their city, whether they love the product, whether they hate the product. They see the numbers, they want it. They want their WWE.
Yes, sir. Then we had Jim Ross confirms that he's done with his Access TV role for New Japan at the end of the year. I wonder what that's going to, what's going to happen there. You think he's going to, what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with Chris Jericho and him maybe starting a little promotion, or?
Well, you have to remember he did sign a contract with WWE after his wife died.
Yes.
So that's still in play as well.
I think that's at the end of the year, though, too, I thought I was reading.
Well, he signed his contract in March.
But
So if it is expiring that soon,
because that's
it'd
what
be March of 19.
Yeah.
He'd be free of WWE obligations.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you don't get it as much as I do just because I've been around it for so long, but there's been so many people that have attempted these large startups, and even more than the people that have attempted them are the people that talk about they're going to attempt them. Mark Cuban, we heard for years, was going to get into the wrestling
I get
game,
you.
and eventually he did bring wrestling to his TV channel, but he never invested his own money in a product. The money that you'd have to invest to get off the ground and have a fighting game, you're talking about a couple $100 million. That's a lot of money for someone to be willing to eat. I remember, sometimes I've been told so many secondhand stories over the year, but at one point Ted Turner had a genuine interest in getting back into wrestling after his no-compete clause with whatever the parent company of TNT and TBS was. And I think it was something like he had experts figure out financially what it would really cost to do this. About $250 million he'd have to eat just to get in the game. That's a lot of money. As someone, the owner of an NFL franchise, like you mentioned, that could get in bed with Jericho and Jim Ross, do they have that kind of money to drop? Maybe. Maybe. I think it'd be a great thing if it happened. I think you have two great wrestling minds in Jim Ross and Chris Jericho, both of whom we've worked with here in the Millennium Wrestling Federation. The thing is now, on one of the videos, someone said I dropped names too much. And I'm going to explain that real quick. I don't drop names to try and get myself over, as these are people I know. I usually don't talk about the people that I know because I don't want to expose where I may have heard this from or that from. The reason I drop people's names that have worked for us here is because it gives the overall presentation more credibility.
Right.
So that's why I dropped the names. But those are two great names to have. If I was going to invest my money in a company, let me tell you, Jim Ross would be one of the first people I'd sign up.
And you got some good free agents out there, too, for minds that can help, like Bruce Pritchard can help.
Okay, sure,
you know what I mean? Some good writers, some good talents, some people that can do some stuff. So, I mean, like you said, you got to find the right investor. And if that guy is for real for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Shiad Khan or whatever, hey, he's got the money, that's for sure. Now let's see if he's going to put his money where his mouth is.
My main concern would be if I'm this group, who am I going to sign?
Right.
There isn't a lot of great free agent, and I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm talking about to put on a national Major League Television broadcast. Who is really out there right now that you could sign to fill an entire promotion? Right. There isn't a lot of it. That means they have to go the route of trying to sign away some guys that have national contracts now. And for a company that has no history to it to do that, they'd have to be some major deals. Right. I don't know if they could afford it. Yep. Or maybe they can afford it, but would they be willing to lose that much money in the first years to get it off the ground? It didn't work out well for Impact.
No.
It hasn't gone well for Ring of Honor either.
Impact's still kicking, though.
Hey, you know what? For a company that was written off, I don't know if you remember the big scandal that took place back in 2002 when everyone, the talk in the business was that Vince sent one of his pay-per-view guys almost put out a hit on
I've heard all this thing.
False information about
pay-per-view numbers. I forget the guy's name. Numbers. I was just hearing about it, reading about it.
I think the company's name was Health South that was involved with it. And they were telling the Jarrett family and all the people that worked in TNA, oh my God, we did 100,000 buys this week. And in more reality, there were like 8,000 buys. Yeah. And they were ready to go belly up a couple of months into the run. And for them to have survived 16 years, you can hate TNA, you can knock TNA, and there's a lot to knock. I don't think anyone should hate a wrestling company that is trying to put forth an effort to give them a quality product. But whatever your thoughts on Impact should be, you should be genuinely happy that it still exists, even if you don't watch it.
Right.
That's my opinion.
I totally agree. And the last thing is Big Cass was in action this weekend, right here in Massachusetts, too. And he looked terrible.
I didn't see the match you're talking about.
I didn't see the match. I seen pictures, and he is big. Big boy.
Everything I've seen of him since he left WWE.
Maybe you can enclose a picture on the...
It's an embarrassment to him.
I don't know what happened.
That shows he doesn't really give a shit.
And he just...
And you know what? Can I go a little further? If he doesn't give a shit and thinks he's just going to hustle the indies for big money to go in there and be lethargic and do nothing, fuck him.
Right. I was disappointed, man. He should have been training, working hard, and he came in looking like a bag of sand.
When he does that, he's disrespecting the promotion that he works for, and he's disrespecting the fans that are paying their money. And I'd say that to his face if he was here right now. I have no malice towards the man because of it, but it's insulting to the profession.
It was funny.
If you want to be a professional wrestler and get a professional wrestling payday, try and look the fucking part. Maybe that's why he's not collecting a payday from WWE anymore.
He's the big C now. But someone wrote maybe the big casserole's a better name for him.
Or another four-letter word.
Yeah, there you go. But I just thought that was funny. And that was the last thing.
I'm not laughing.
No, I mean the pictures. They were funny. If you can include one on the videos that we post, I think people get a kick out of them if you haven't seen them.
Well, maybe he can go back to NXT and they can give him a basketball jersey too, like they
He looked real soft.
Cassius Ohno.
He looked real soft this past weekend.
I'm not saying you have to have a six-pack.
No, I get you.
All I'm saying is look like you're an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're a rare gimmick guy that needs to be overweight. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. But that's it for the headlines.
Unbelievable, fans. Well, whether you're watching the online shorts or the full-length video, we're about ready to wrap this up, fans. Again, we want to remind you, let's see if I'm going to get this right, because this is going to have to be heavily edited the other times I screwed up. Not once, but twice in the month of November. If you're in the Boston area, come on down to the studio and meet the Hall of Famer himself. Free admission. Mr. USA Tony Atlas returns for big Memories and Legends tapings Saturday, November the 24th. Friday, November the 30th, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be kicking off our holiday headlocks drive. Maybe we'll have some great merchandise out to help the cause. That's not a bad idea at all. Maybe see if we can get some of the great businesses in this city to send down some pastries or something, give it a holiday feel. Check out BostonWrestling.com. We're going to have a big-time Indiegogo campaign with some great prizes, including bringing Memories and Legends live to your city. Wouldn't that be an experience? Yes. But again, November 24th, November 30th, right here in Melrose. For fans anywhere in the world that has internet access, not one but two big-time, full-length Memories and Legends. The man in the control booth himself, Walter Hillside, directed at least one of them. I tell you, Tony's stories from the first episode go from his end of WWF run in 1986 through the end of 1989. He went through trials and tribulations in world class with the Von Erichs as it was going out of business. He went to Puerto Rico to think there was money to be made, and he saw one of his good friends be murdered in the locker room. That's a true story. To join the Savoldi group that had ownership interest in WWF at one point, and Angelo Savoldi, before Vince McMahon bought Vince McMahon Sr. and his partners out. And WWF stomped the life out of ICW before it could begin, and that led Tony Atlas to living in a cardboard box under a park bench in Maine. It's a true story. It's a fascinating story. There's an amazing revelation in it. I don't want to give a tease on that, but you'll be blown away by this episode as I was when we filmed it. Then in the second episode, again, we're joined by the esteemed doctor himself. Forget about Tom Pritchard, the true doctor of desire. Dr. David Reese. You talk about a Tinder profile, baby. David Reese, you should see that. The iPhones are ready to heat up and overload and break down
here we go.
when they see the David Reese Tinder. Yep. You should see him out at the Cauliflower Alley Club in Vegas. Well,
He's
anyway,
ready, huh?
David Reese will be here live. Myself, Tony, and Dr. Reese talk about what it's like after WWF for a lot of these athletes, what it was like for a man that was known from magazine covers and television shows literally around the world to living under a park bench in a box, refrigerator box, with the ICW Heavyweight Championship belt in the box. As I was editing it, I didn't remember that part, but he said it again, and I laughed again, as I did during the show.
It's terrible.
Well, we love Tony. And again, Thanksgiving night, BostonWrestling.com. Forget about me. We have Bruce Pritchard coming to you, Oscar coming to you. We've got the cameos with Jim Ross, Mick Foley, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, the man that's going to war in War Games at NXT TakeOver in Los Angeles, former Millennium Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion Warbeard Hanson. Tons of cameos. We have a lot of fun with Holiday Headlocks every year. Again, our goal is to keep the name of our great friend Paul Bearer alive with the toy drive that him and I started back in 2012. We have some great merchandise, a great raffle. We're going to be reaching out to a lot of folks. Even already a WWE superstar was kind enough to donate to the pot for the big raffle. So we're interested to see who we hear from. I got a couple of interesting emails this week, but you know our raffles are always interesting and have a lot of good stuff. For the executive over there, Mr. Tinder himself, Dave Carter, I remain Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, Oh, the Instagram. Tell them, brother.
We have a new Instagram. You can follow us at Boston Wrestling Com, C-O-M, Boston Wrestling Com. It just started up. We're going to be putting some great stuff on there. Make sure you look for us on there.
Just like our YouTube channel, the Instagram is the same, Boston Wrestling Com. I don't know if follow, like, subscribe is the word. Follow on Instagram. Again, the graphic scrolls throughout at MWF Project X. Join 50,000 of your fellow wrestling fans. We have tons of links that go out on a regular basis on that and all the ways you can help us continue to grow and bring you more and more fresh content. And this is the big weekend. It has been a long time coming. The Patreon. The Patreon channel is going to be, it's been live, but we really haven't been promoting it. But you talk about great content. The original, world famous, is seen on the Howard Stern Show and millions online, the Iron Sheik studio shoot interview. It is 3 hours that you will not believe ever existed. I lived it. If you've never seen Iron Sheik Goes Nuts on YouTube, it all began here in this studio. We have the full-length DVD up. We have the WrestleMania 1 Roundtable studio shoot interview DVD. We have a first of its kind. Back in January of 2011, the WWE United States Champion, the current world champion in WWE, Daniel Bryan, came to the MWF as U.S. Champion to take on the current NXT title holder, then in the MWF, known as the $1 Million Investment Tommaso Ciampa. Fans really liked that match. I was asked to put it up early. We did. We got more great shoots. We have more great talk shows. We have more memories and legends. And we're trying to present everything on the Patreon as ad-free. People say, why do you have so many ads? Why do you have so many plugs? It's full screen on the Patreon. If you can help us out, you're going to help us produce more great content. And we have 2 levels above the regular subscription that come with some awesome rewards. So head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, a graphic you've probably seen several dozen times throughout this program. But hey, you know what? We got to eat. We're not looking to get rich, but we got to eat. We don't want to be like Tony up in the box. So speaking for a man that enjoys visiting a box every now and then, I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, you and yours be well. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Let us tell you how the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation can help raise cash for your nonprofit cause. Experience the action and excitement of the Millennium Wrestling Federation live in your city, throughout New England, the tri-state area, down through the Carolinas, out to our friends in the Midwest and beyond.
If your nonprofit organization is looking for an interactive turnkey experience while putting the fun into fundraising, you've met the perfect tag team partner to work with every step of the way.
The MWF offers a variety of packages for groups of almost any size, from our live events at the Boston Garden, the Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex, and the legendary Suffolk Downs, to high school gyms and function halls. We've presented live events everywhere and anywhere.
Since 2001, the MWF's mission has been simple: keep the kids off the streets. Under the leadership of President David Reese, we bring the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow to your town. Not for a wrestling show, but an event that features action-packed in-ring wrestling, autograph, pose photo opportunities, Q&A sessions, and so much more. It's the best of sports and entertainment. The week of your event, we can add on to the endeavor with anti-bullying campaigns, library meet and greet reads, youth sport concussion seminars, and more.
Our live events are fit for fans of any age from 5 to 95. This fall is part of our new Kids Club program. We offer live event experiences exclusively for the youngest of fans. On the flip side, we can produce a tailor-made event for fans of an older demographic as well. We work with you every step of the way to get the word out to fans near and far on our local television offerings and to over 50,000 fans and growing on our social media platforms.
Your success is our success. If your group has had enough of candy bar and wrapping paper sales and has the energy to team with our passionate fan base, bringing the NWF experience to your community is the answer to put smiles on faces while raising cash for your cause.
Contact us today to get the ball rolling for your custom-made event that you'll want to bring back year after year to your community.
Don't just take it from us. Here are the folks we've teamed up with in the past.